we'll be talking a little bit about the government shutdown in a moment here, but I want to welcome in right now Congresswoman Kim Schrier. First and foremost, just thanks for taking the time to be with us today. I imagine even though you guys aren't taking votes, it is very busy over there.
We thank you for having me. And yes, we're really busy in our district talking to a lot of people who are being affected by this shutdown, TSA agents, clinics, WIC that feeds people with families with young children. And we need to get the government back up and running again.
Well, and I do have some questions about the shutdown, but one of the things I know you and I wanted to talk about first and foremost, this hydrogen hub. It's one of those things that I feel like there was a lot of excitement for it, but maybe people didn't fully understand what it meant for our area. And now the next headline comes and we're saying, hey, we're losing $1 billion for our area. So what does this mean for jobs? What effects are we talking about for what was just effectively taken away from our area?
That's right. This hydrogen hub is a really big deal. And I think it probably did fly under the radar for a lot of people. But I want you to know that I fought really hard in the last administration, as did Republicans. This was a bipartisan priority here in the Northwest to make the Northwest a hydrogen hub, to advance us to the energy of the future. And we won one of just 7 hydrogen hub funding projects in the entire country. And what the Northwest has is we have clean energy to produce hydrogen that can be stored for things like aviation and for trucking. And so by pulling back this project that's already been invested in, it's taking $1 billion away, but it's also taking away 10,000 jobs. And it's also taking away $5 million of private investment and $4 million of training. And it's taking away our leadership in the world at a time when we need more energy and more clean energy than ever before.
Well, let me ask you this question, because one of the things that was struck to me is that there was a lot of conversation about how President Biden was in office when this all was coming to fruition just a few years back. Does it feel like this is just political, or does this feel like this is retribution to blue states? Because we've heard a lot of conversation about, well, if this doesn't happen, the punishment will come. What do you think?
Well, to me, and I would imagine to most people in the country, this sure feels like retaliation. It feels like retaliation against blue states when we see a pattern of taking funds and projects away from blue states and transferring them. That goes for everything from the Howard Hansen Dam, which was a huge project to return salmon and to do flood control in my district, in addition to this hydrogen hub. And we're seeing projects like this across the country. So it is political revenge. It's totally inappropriate. And it's terrible for not just Washington, but also Oregon and Montana in terms of jobs and investment.
Well, as we think about what the Capitol is doing and what our Washington delegation is doing, because I know it wasn't just the House, but also the Senate side, there was a lot of support for these hydrogen hubs. Is there any recourse for those that are out there thinking, what happens next? What can we do? Is this money gone forever? Do you see any world where this money comes back to our region?
Look, it's my job to fight for this district and for our state and our region. And so I am hounding Secretary Wright at the Department of Energy to bring back this funding. Again, it is a bipartisan priority to boost energy production. We have an AI race going on. There's more demand than ever, and we can offer non-emitting energy. This is a smart investment, and to not do it is really ceding the ground to China.
And I should ask as well, just for those that don't understand, when we say hydrogen hub, this isn't just 1 or 2 types of jobs. These are jobs that really kind of run the gamut, correct?
That's right. I mean, these are jobs, everything from the people who repair the Packard trucks that run on hydrogen, to the people who build the pipelines to carry hydrogen, to the people who work the electrolyzers at our hydropower plants, so that when the turbines are running and we have extra energy, that can be harnessed and then stored in high pressure tanks. It is a whole ecosystem of jobs and jobs of the future.
Well, when I think about where we are at right now, obviously this kind of fits right in with the conversations we've been having about what's unfolding over on Capitol Hill. We're clearly now in day 6 of a government shutdown. There has been a lot of finger pointing across the aisle, one side at the other. Questions about what's going on with tax credits, and the question that I know you wanted to answer is why now? So for those who are pointing at Democrats and saying, hey, you shut down the government right now, what's your response to those, and why is this a critical moment in time?
Well, first, let's just be crystal clear that the Republicans control the White House, the House, and the Senate. It is their job to open the government, to fund the government, and they know exactly how to do that. And the way it's always been done is in a bipartisan way. I am ready and willing, and I was there on September 30th, ready to vote for a bill that would fund this government. They know what our demands are. Healthcare is worth fighting for. It is what my constituents want. It is what people across the country want. We're here to look out for the people we represent. And so all they need to do is come to the table, negotiate with us in good faith. And let's look out for our constituents, not for billionaires. Then we can open up this government.
And I don't expect anybody to be a prognosticator. Congressmen and women have enough hats to wear as it is, but we are in day 6 here. Do you think there's an appetite for this to continue on longer? I know there's always questions. Will leadership hold the ground here? Do you expect actual action? Do you think these ACA tax credits will be saved at the end of the day from this reaction or this shutdown?
So a couple things. One, the Senate's voting now to, probably once again vote down the Republican version of the government funding bill. Every day this goes on, it increases pressure on the Republicans because everybody knows that they control all levers of government right now. They own this shutdown. It's a really easy solution. And I want to just explain something really important. When we talk about these tax credits and my colleagues say, oh, we can just wait till the end of the year. No, that is not true. Let me explain really quickly how this works. Open enrollment is coming on November 1st. Our signing up for me ends on about November 15th. Statements are going to show up and families are going to evaluate their new premiums, which on average are going up by 65%, but in some cases are going up 100% or more. So they're going to look at those statements and decide whether they can afford to stay insured. And if they decide not to stay insured, and that open enrollment period ends, and then the Republicans decide to bring down costs, it's too late for them. They can't enroll again for another year. That is why this is so urgent. It's why our insurance commissioner wanted this dealt with by September 30th. And it is why we are fighting right now. Not to take a handshake of course we'll deal with that. They have proven to be untrustworthy, and we need to protect healthcare now.
Final question I ask you, and I know your time is limited. We've got a view actually of the Senate taking their vote, so I'm keeping an eye. Thank you for mentioning that, because reminding me that. And I like to tell our viewers this is why we do our show live, so we can have these conversations, that we don't just get a 10 or 15 second soundbite with you. So for our viewers that are watching and really wondering what happens next, especially military folks that are out here and waiting for those paychecks, what is your message for those who are kind of stuck waiting? What do you want them to hear right now and be thinking about as they move about their daily life, as they wonder what comes next?
Shutdowns are serious business. They impact all of us. And a lack of access to healthcare also impacts all of us, whether you are directly or indirectly impacted by these tax credits or cuts to Medicaid. We are all going to suffer when hospitals close and when we have long waits for the emergency department and our healthcare premiums go up across the board. That is why I am fighting for everybody. After the last shutdown, we passed legislation to make sure that government workers would get back pay. But that's still really hard on government workers who have to pay their mortgages this month. And so we do need this shutdown to end. We do need good faith bipartisan solutions. Republicans know how to open the government. They just need to extend a hand. And we are there to negotiate in good faith.
Congresswoman Kim Schrier, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with our viewers. Of course, we here at the Fox Local Live Desk will continue to monitor the latest with the situation. More news when we come back.